Okay.
Okay. We are calling, okay kids, we're calling the 6:30 Special Services District meeting, special meeting. We'll start with roll call, Mr. Davidoff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilor Blanks.
Present.
Mayor Cantor.
Here.
Councilor Cortez.
Here.
Councilor Fay.
Here.
Mr. Johnson. Or Ms. Johnson, I'm sorry.
Andrew Suffian on her behalf. I'm the alternate.
Ms. McGinnis.
Here.
Ms. Bowen.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sweeney. Mr. Spivak.
Here.
Mr. Winograd.
Here.
Mr. Zanowitz.
Here.
Mr. Suffian.
Here.
and Mr. Bazanis. Okay, we do have a quorum.
So you have dual personality today? Yeah. Okay. No, it's good. Okay, number 2, motion to approve minutes. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 25th meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 3,
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the schedule of meetings for 2024.
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. It's not on the sheet, but it is on our, on the
Calendar.
calendar website, board, what do we call it, board docs? Civic clerk, right. I'm stuck in time. Okay, so it's on our civic clerk. So if, are there any issues, questions? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and that being a very long meeting, we now, I guess I can say if there's no objection, is there any objection? We are now adjourned. Thank you for, Mr. Spivak, we are now adjourned. No, go ahead.
With the new business, if I made a comment.
It's not new business. Ms. Attorney Verano.
So, Madam Mayor, it's not on the agenda, but you can suspend the rules 2/3 majority to add an item to the agenda. It would be commentary by a commissioner.
Okay, all those in favor to hear Mr. Spivak's comment? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Spivak, go ahead.
Living close to where the new bakery is going to be, and obviously using the Isham garage often, I think someone should look into how the spaces fill up in the morning before 9 or 10 o'clock. I think the people that are working at 65 Memorial and maybe some of the other places, they fill up all the parking spaces on the first floor and on the lower level. And I want the new bakery to succeed, and I want Vinted to do well, and everybody. And years ago, when they first opened up Bishop's Corner, they had that same problem. The people that were working in the offices sucked up all the spaces in that first area. And I remember they used to rope it off so you couldn't, I'm not saying you got to rope the area, but I'm saying they asked people not to go in those spaces and allow the people that were going to go to the retail stores, such as the bakery or Vinted, or maybe even to have their nails done. And these people are being forced to go to the second floor, third floor. I think something should be done where the first area, when you first go in, it's the first floor, and the lower level, there's some kind of restriction before a certain hour, so those spaces don't disappear and they can use them for the, if you want to call it the retail space.
Thank you, Mr. Spivak. I think that's something that our town staff will, or I don't know if you want to comment, Mr. Lawler.
I can, yeah. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to Mr. Spivak. So we are working with Charter Realty on looking at parking at both the garages. And certainly office space has been a priority in finding spots for tenants who do come in to the office early. So yeah, we'll take that under consideration and work with Charter. And again, we are looking at parking overall and how it incorporates into what's happening, some of the great things that are happening with Charter Realty right now. So, thank you.
Andrew did not prompt me. He didn't know I was going to
I
say
know he
that.
didn't.
Yeah, he seemed a little
This is
surprised that
just
you
my
were.
observation.
Thank you. No, it's a helpful observation.
But I heard this new bakery is going to be a grand slam. And this young lady that runs this her operation is amazing. So.
Good. All right. Well, thank you very much, and we appreciate your being here for this brief meeting, but important business. All right. Okay. Seeing, I'll make the motion to adjourn. Is there any objection? Hearing no objection, we are now adjourned, and we will begin our finance meeting in 2 minutes.
For all your trouble.
To item 2A. Mr. Ludwig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First up, we have a resolution amending the fiscal year 22-23 general fund budget to fund transfers to the capital non-recurring expenditure fund, the risk management fund, the utility services fund, and to accrue for expenditures related to tax assessment appeals. As we've discussed throughout the year, in our Finance and Administration Committee meetings, we have been running a large surplus throughout the year that continued to increase as we move throughout the fiscal year. We ended up with a $8.4 million surplus to finish off 22 and 23. And through you, Mr. Chairman, I'll ask our Finance Director, Mr. Privatera, to come up and walk the council through components of the surplus, and then our recommendation to appropriate funds to our capital non-recurring expenditure fund to the tune of $3 million, $1.2 million to meet anticipated expenditures related to tax assessment appeals, $508,000 to address reserves, extra reserves in our health program, and $500,000 in the utility services fund to reserve for possible future rate increases. The remaining balance of $3.2 million would be appropriated to our unreserved fund balance in accordance with our fund balance policy, which we revised last year, which requires us to appropriate 1/3 of our surplus to our unreserved fund balance. So as a quick overview, I'll let Peter dive into the details. I know, sorry about that.
Good evening, everyone. Peter Privatera, Finance Director. As the town manager stated, we have a little under 8 people. Walk you through the revenue category. Our expectation was as it turned out, bless you, as it turned out, also, we had prior year taxes and interest. Charges for services. About $700,000. Revenue, this is the largest. After our flood year. It's like 0.01. Now it's still. We collected. Those were the real drivers on the revenue side. On the expense side,
90 degrees or hotter during the month of June and September. And so that's why that was chosen. I believe Webster Hill was chosen to be second because that should be an easier school. I think a lot of the school is already sort of, I don't know the correct terminology, but like piped for the AC system. And so it's going to be a little bit easier to take care of getting the AC through all of Webster Hill. That's my recollection.
And to be clear, with these updates, all of the schools will be getting their own AC systems put in place.
They will. Not as quickly as we would like, unfortunately. I know. Yeah. But yes, we will. Charter Oak and Smith are the two that have
them already.
Air conditioning, and the 9 will join those two.
Great.
Over
And,
time.
And then no, that's right.
I think that was it I think we covered everything on the agenda tonight, right? Oh, do you want to, yeah, we do have a update on our current year projection. You want to come to the table, Mr. Privatera? More good news, based on some unexpected funding we received from the state.
Yes, it is more good news. However, there is one area that I just want to discuss real quick. On the revenue side, we're doing well. When we received that supplemental motor vehicle list, it was larger than we expected, so we're expecting an additional $250,000 in revenue. We received more money from the state pilot program, about $131,000. When I spoke about municipal revenue sharing grant, we received $1.4 million last year, or we received $1.8 million this year. Again, unbudgeted, but very welcome. Investment earnings, we're projecting, the interest rates kept on rising, so we're projecting an additional $1,750,000 in investment earnings. And we signed a contract to cap the old landfill. And part of that process is that we will be charging the construction company by public safety. I did have a conversation. All in all,
Madam Mayor?
The MRSA grant, could you just describe what that is and, where that, thanks.
we get, the municipalities receive a portion of state tax collected, and it's based on a formula, and they don't finish accounting for it until the end of September, early October, so we don't know how much they collected. That's why last year was a surprise of $1.4 million, this year is an even bigger surprise at $1.8 million. But it's just the way the process works, that we can't budget for it because we don't know how much to budget at that time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have one question. How have we done with regards to, I know we're charging companies that do like yard work, and I think we are no longer accepting like debris and whatnot. So that people are now paying to have it hauled over there? Is that right?
So through, Mr. Chairman, to your question, so that's not anything that the town's involved with. So
Okay.
we had hired a company to administer that program down at Brixton Street. We stopped doing that last year. And now, if the landscaper has to pay to
Bring it somewhere.
dispose of his branches or his or her branches, clippings, leaves, things like that, then they can pass that charge on to the resident.
Right. Okay. Well, we're not collecting.
We're not collecting that, no.
All right.
No.
Thank you.
WHCI can't pick up your comments without your mic being on, so I just got a text, so people missed something, so I don't know if we should go back and explain anything, or
We're doing
or
great.
just,
I
okay.
think Price is great. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. For the people that are watching, we're in good shape. Some general questions, but overall pretty good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Peter. With that, without any questions or comments, we'll, without objection, adjourn this meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you, and 7:30 council meeting, so, all right, want to go? 7:30, so if everybody is okay, I am calling the November 14th Town Council meeting to order, 7:30. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Davidoff.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Councilor Blanks.
Present.
Mayor Cantor.
Here.
Councilor Cortez.
Here.
Councilor Fay.
Present.
Councilor McGinnis.
Present.
Councilor Poland.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sweeney.
Here.
Councilor Benegard.
Here.
Councilor Zdanowitz.
Here.
Did you do Benegard? Benegard?
Okay. We are actually going to start with proclamations. And we have an honored guest in the audience, so I'm going to have him come up. Director Phillips, please come. It is such an honor to be here with such a incredibly committed professional and leader in our town. So much of what happens in public works is not in the front, and people don't recognize it and understand how important it is to their daily life. And but John does, and we do, and the state recognized the incredible excellence that comes out of our Public Works Department, and it's been so hard with obviously COVID and workforce issues and supply, all these challenges that, well, obviously trash. We all know about the challenges with solid waste. John has been a leader in all of it, and has provided, I think, the appropriate level of incentives and support for his staff. And it's an incredible. Again, it gives me great pleasure to present a formal proclamation. But on Saturday night at AquaTurf, you are going to be receiving the award for this honor. So, whereas the Connecticut Association of State Highway Officials, CASHO, is pleased to announce that the Distinguished Service Award for 2023 has been bestowed upon West Hartford Public Works for its outstanding contribution to the community and the state's transportation infrastructure. Whereas this prestigious award is presented to an organization that has demonstrated unwavering commitment, innovation, and excellence in maintaining and improving its public work systems. West Hartford Public Works has been recognized for its dedication to enhancing the safety and quality of life for residents and travelers in Connecticut. West Hartford Public Works action on Vision Zero, transportation, pedestrian safety improvements, sustainable material management practices, and overall commitment to public works maintenance excellence is most notable. Whereas West Hartford Public Works has consistently exemplified its commitment to service, maintaining and improving the roadways and public infrastructure, their tireless efforts have contributed to the community's overall well-being and have significantly impacted the town's transportation and recreational networks. Whereas the 2023 Distinguished Service Award is a testament to the exceptional teamwork, leadership, and dedication of the entire West Hartford Public Works team. It acknowledges their commitment to excellence and their role in ensuring that Connecticut's roadways remain safe, efficient, and well-maintained. Whereas this event will bring together key stakeholders in transportation, infrastructure, and public works to celebrate the accomplishments of West Hartford Public Works and to acknowledge their vital role in supporting Connecticut's transportation systems. Whereas West Hartford Public Works has set a remarkable standard for public service and infrastructure management, the Connecticut Association of State Highway Officials is proud to celebrate their achievements and to acknowledge the positive impact they have made on the state's transportation landscape. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed on behalf of the Town Council and the residents of West Hartford, I, Mayor Sherry G. Cantor, do hereby extend congratulations to West Hartford Public Works Department on this award and the outstanding commitment to the town. And I really, we mean it. And I don't know if, Ronnie, do you want to get a picture with John and the proclamation? You hold it, honey. Thank you. Do you want to say a few words?
Well, thank you very much. Very kind words, and the proclamation is certainly well-fitting. Appreciation is huge. Obviously, it starts with the men and women who go out every day and do the work on the front lines of our maintenance and our responsibilities. But cashier also represents really the holistic approach of public works. So I'd be remiss not to include our engineering department, who supports us day in and day out in providing us good, solid plans and understanding of what needs to be fixed and repaired, both on a capital improvement side as well as just day-to-day drainage improvements and just little road improvement areas that we need their expertise. And that obviously starts with Dwayne Martin, our town engineer, Greg Summers, certainly instrumental in achieving this accomplishment of being exemplary to this. But it also, you have to take credit for. This is a West Hartford award. West Hartford Public Works can't function without the resources you provide us. And you guys do provide us the resources to be successful. And so it really is a West Hartford award. And I think everybody should take credit for this accomplishment, not just Public Works.
Thank you. All right. I have two more, but I'll do them at my. Is native? I'm not sure. So this is a new proclamation for the town, and it's long overdue, and something that many communities have done. And so we're going to be learning more and more as a community. But Native American Heritage Month proclamation, we do a lot of month proclamations, but we don't want to just say, this month. We want to really research and talk about land acknowledgements and things that we can do to recognize people that have lived here before and supported the land. So Native American Heritage Month proclamation, and I want to thank Adrian Billings-Smith for her work in this. So whereas we take this moment to recognize Native American Heritage Month, and we celebrate the rich history, culture, and traditions of Native Americans and their contributions to our society, we also recognize the challenges that Native Americans have faced throughout history and the ongoing struggles they continue to endure. Whereas the town of West Hartford acknowledges that we reside on the historic homelands of Indigenous peoples and tribes past and present, including but not limited to Pequannox, Wangunk, and Tungus, and whereas on this journey of reconciliation with the native stewards of the land that we presently occupy, we will continue to demonstrate our honor, respect, and appreciation for the Indigenous people of our past who were forcibly removed from their land through colonization, disease, and war. And whereas we continue to acknowledge and affirm the sovereignty, history, and experiences of all Indigenous peoples, this acknowledgement is not a means to an end, but rather a starting point to begin the process of healing and building a shared responsibility of stewardship. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on behalf of the Town Council and residents of West Hartford, I, Mayor Sherry G. Cantor, do hereby recognize Native American Heritage Month on 14th day of November 2023. And again, thank you to Adrian for helping to make that, to provide the information on that and support that. And the last, and this is something that Mr. Davidoff always made sure that we were doing, and it is actually the backbone of so much of West Hartford, a Small Business Saturday proclamation. And this is pretty self-explanatory, but whereas according to the U.S. Small Business Administration, there were 33 million small businesses in the United States. Small businesses represent 99.7% of firms with paid employees. Small businesses are responsible for 62.7% of net new jobs created since 1995, and small businesses employ 46.4% of the employees in the private sector in the United States. Whereas the town of West Hartford supports and celebrates our local small businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our neighborhoods. And whereas 68 cents of every dollar spent at a small business in the United States stays in the local community, and every dollar spent at small businesses creates an additional 48 cents in local business activity as a result of employees and local businesses purchasing local goods and services. Whereas 90% of consumers in the United States say Small Business Saturday has a positive impact on their community, whereas 89% of consumers who are aware of Small Business Saturday say the day encourages them to shop small all year long, and whereas 72% of consumers reported that Small Business Saturday 2023 made them want to shop and dine at small, independently owned retailers and restaurants all year long. Whereas that was 2022, sorry, we're in 2023. Whereas advocacy groups and public and private organizations across the country have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday, now therefore be it proclaimed that on behalf of the Town Council and the residents of West Hartford, I, Mayor Sherry G. Cantor, do recognize and proclaim November 25th, 2023 as Small Business Saturday and urge residents of our community and the community across the country to support small business and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. And this will be posted and will be sent to many of our small businesses as well, shared on social media. Okay, now we go to public forum. Mr. Dodge. There is no one signed up. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to something on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we go to number 4, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, without objection, I move that items 5A, 5B, 7B, 7C, 7D, 7F, 7G, 7H, 7I, and 10A are placed on the consent calendar.
Is there any objection? Hearing no objection, the items are placed on consent. Mr. Sweeney?
Madam Mayor, I move adoption of the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We go to 7, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I move adoption of the resolution amending the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 general budget fund, transfer to the non-capital, non-reoccurring expenditure fund, the risk management fund, the utility services fund, and to accrue expenditures related to tax assessment appeals.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. We just had a finance and budget meeting prior to this council meeting and went through it, but if you could summarize it quickly, Mr. Ledwith.
Sure will. Thank you, Madam Mayor. This resolution will appropriate our 2022-2023 surplus of $8.4 million, $8,476,156. We are recommending to appropriate $3 million to our capital non-recurring expenditure fund, $1.2 million to our general fund to meet anticipated expenditures related to tax assessment appeals, $508,000 to address reserves in our risk management fund, and an additional $500,000 in the utility services fund to reserve for possible future rate increases within that fund. The remaining $3.2 million would be appropriated to our unreserved fund balance in accordance with our fund balance policy, which was revised last year and requires the town to appropriate 1/3 of our surpluses to our unreserved fund balance. Our unreserved fund balance will increase our funded ratio from 9.2% to 9.9%. And that will bring us more in line with our AAA-rated peers around the state and the country. As we discussed last year, GFOA recommends a balance in that 15 to 16% range, and this certainly gets us in line and moving towards that target over time. As we discussed during the Finance and Budget Administration meeting, a large portion of this revenue or surplus is a result of our short-term investment fund, where we saw $3.6 million in gains in the STIF fund that we utilize with the state. The current yield rate in the STIF fund is 5.44%. And when we adopted the budget in April of 2022, that yield rate was 0.44%. So we saw a tremendous increase in that interest rate, which accounted for $3.6 million. We had $1.4 million in municipal revenue sharing grant. That was unexpected, and we received another gift from the state in this current fiscal year, where we saw another increase in that number as well. Our tax collection rate of 99.4% generated an additional $3.1 million in revenue as well, which we will offset with that tax appeal fund. So that summarizes our surplus as we discussed during F&A, and happy to answer any questions through you, Madam Mayor, that the council may have.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. And just as I can have Mr. Sweeney talk about it, but one of the things, the $3 million in CNRE, as our Director of Finance stated, that would be sort of pre-funding needs for our public safety fleet, sort of for a while, setting us up for in a place where we wouldn't necessarily have to budget for those one-time purchases for.
Correct,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Sweeney, anybody else? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 7A, now we go to 7B.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I make a motion to adopt the resolution appropriating historic document preservation fund to the office of the town clerk.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Again, Mr. Leavitt, quick
Do we put that
recap.
on consent? or-
That one wasn't on consent.
Madam Mayor, it is on consent. It's just in the script. It's missing the word.
Ah, sorry about that. Okay, so we
We'll
are
move on.
withdrawing the motion. That has already been adopted. Sorry about that. Then we go to
7E.
7E. And I crossed that one off. Okay, 7E, Mr. Sweeney.
Sorry. Madam Mayor, move adoption of the resolution appropriating grant fund allocated by the State of Connecticut State of Connecticut's Department of Aging and Disability Services.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, and this is wonderful. Mr. Ledwith, please share.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and we're thrilled to announce the receipt of a 2022 state ARPA funding grant for statewide senior centers in the amount of $170,606 for the purchase of an 18-passenger van to support our senior center operations in order to provide free transportation to seniors to travel to and from the Elmwood and Bishop's Corner senior centers to participate in the various programs that we offer in both locations. We'll also utilize the van to provide transportation to museums, playhouses, concert venues, sporting events. The van will encourage seniors to participate at both senior centers and hopefully provide our seniors with a sense of belonging, knowing that they have transportation to provide them access to both of these great centers. I want to thank our director, Becky Sears, for her hard work in securing this grant. $126,000 will cover the cost of the van, approximately $15,700 will cover operating expenses, and $28,000 will cover part-time driver salaries. And I did talk with our director, Helen Rubino Turco, earlier today, and we will be pursuing the purchase of an electric vehicle or an electric van to help with our sustainable CT efforts. So through you, Madam Mayor, happy to answer any questions that yourself or the council had.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. And again, I want to thank Director Sears, Rebecca Sears, for her work in actually writing the application and applying for the grant and working with our seniors. This has been a priority for a long time, as I said in our meeting prior. Are there any comments? All right. This is really great. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Just flying through. Reports from the town manager. Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First, on the, well, actually, let me go back to future meetings. So we do have our Community Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting is canceled for tomorrow, November 15th. And our next council meeting will be next Tuesday, the 21st. And that council meeting will begin at 8 o'clock versus our standard 7:30 starting time. I do want to speak a little bit about our Safe Streets and Roads for All grant. I know we've talked about this at the committee level, but Connecticut's congressional delegation announced that more than $1.7 million will be distributed to 6 Connecticut towns, including West Hartford, for traffic and road safety improvements and studies. The funds are awarded through the United States Department of Transportation Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program, established to prevent roadway deaths and serious injuries. Very much in line with our Vision Zero efforts that we are undergoing right now. West Hartford will receive $669,000 to pilot an 18-month speed management program that includes installing up to 15 speed enforcement cameras on traffic signals at key locations around town. West Hartford would be required to match the grant by 20%, which we have funds allocated for and will be before the council to appropriate those funds when we do receive the grant. The grant will also include funding for staffing of a sworn police officer who would evaluate video and determine if a fine should be administered. There's also need for increased staffing in the town's planning, engineering, and finance departments. We're estimating now that that we would begin this program in the early part of first quarter of 2024. The next steps include getting guidance from the Connecticut Department of Transportation, executing an agreement with the Department of Transportation, which would require council action, creating new ordinances that allows us to use the cameras and issue fines, and creating a fine structure in an appeal process. Concurrently, we will need to select a vendor, install the cameras, and commence the program. So there's a lot to happen over the next several months that will include several opportunities to meet with the council to adopt ordinances and sign off on some of the things that we will need to do in order to move forward with this program. Want a quick update on the Vision Zero Task Force as well. We did have a meeting last night. The Vision Task Force met last evening to discuss the action plan status and next steps. A second public meeting will be held on Wednesday, December 6th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Noah Webster Library at 20 South Main Street. A brief presentation will be made at 6 p.m. And so it's more of an open house before the 6 p.m. presentation and then following that presentation as well. Following the December 6th meeting, we will be finalizing the town's Vision Zero action plan, which will be presented at our final task force meeting on January 8th. And we would then present the action plan to the Community Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting. If we keep the same schedule that we had in '23, we're projecting that we would hold that meeting, and I'll work certainly through the chair of CPED, but we would look to hold that meeting on Wednesday, January 17th at 8 p.m. The action plan document will be organized by action items, prioritizing chronologically, along with lead and supporting departments. It is essentially our roadmap to 0 deaths and 0 serious injuries as a result of traffic crashes within 10 years. It will look at quick build solutions, short-term solutions, long-term solutions. We will have an annual review and supporting report that will be presented to the town council every year, which will outline successes and whether we've met our goals for each year as we move through the next 10 years. We are recommending that as you know, we have the task force in place right now. We talked to the task force last night about establishing a Vision Zero advisory committee, and this committee would work with staff. We would meet at least quarterly throughout the year to review our progress towards meeting our goals on an annual basis, and then helping us with the annual report that, as I said, would be presented to the town council. If you want, I can pause there, Mayor, and see if there's any questions on our Safe Streets for All grant or our progress towards Vision Zero.
Okay, any questions?
Great.
Really?
A lot more to follow, but just a quick, and I'm very proud of the work that this task force has accomplished since we've been working together in February. I honestly, when we started in February, I didn't think we'd be where we are in November. I'm very excited to be able to have this final document for the council in January and start our progress towards, considerable changes around town to maintain a safe infrastructure for our pedestrians, our bicyclists, and our drivers as well. So.
Yeah, and it's just about a year, right? So when we started the task force, so to have that plan and how we can implement it means a lot. All right, Corporation Council. Do we have a report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, congratulations to all of you on your re-election, and also I see Mr. Walters in the crowd too, so congratulations to you. I will unfortunately not be here when you get sworn in next week. I'll be in Texas, but Gina will be here. Outside of that, Madam Mayor, I have no formal report. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody may have.
Thank you, Mr. Dodge. Any questions for Corporation Council? Okay. I know this is a very busy month, but unfortunately, I don't have any announcements on my, there was none there. So that's what Mr. Davidoff was running around to try to find, so I don't know what happened. So, would it be? Well, we do know, we do know that the holiday stroll is the first Thursday after Thanksgiving, so it will be on 11:30, actually. Thanksgiving is a little early this year. So that will, I think it starts at 5. That is a chamber-sponsored event with, I don't have all my notes here. So, and I know also Fire and Ice will also be on December 10th on Sunday, and that usually starts about 4. Any other, we also need, I know we also really, I want to just say that Mr. Sweeney and I, Deputy Mayor Sweeney and I met the Morley group for the Red Wagon food drive. I didn't get a final count on, usually we get a final count on wagons and numbers of parcels of food, and maybe Ronnie wrote it, but I don't know. But it was a beautiful day, and those kids were amazing.
It was the biggest and best yet.
Of course. And so, but the shelves really need to be stocked. They need to be stocked all year long. We think about it more on the holidays, and I will say that when the world feels so, it's so hard right now, the little things that you can do to make your neighbors, your community better, I think makes you feel better. And so hopefully you will find those things that you can do, whether, I know I'm packing for Dignity Grows on the Sunday of, which is a female health and menstrual products, a giveaway, and there's a breakfast out of a regional shelter that our family will be serving at, and donating to a food pantry, and really important things that give us a little control in our life and make us feel that we are making a difference, and we are. So, anything, Mr. Cortez, anything at Methodist Church?
I always have something to add. So this time around, we're doing a diaper drive, just because everyone else is doing a food drive now. So there's a need with that as well, and that would come to the food pantry as well, so they can help families in town. And for our fire smoke detectors, right? We do those twice a year, check the batteries. I think for the food drive piece, because there's always a cost. People, right now money's tight, but why not check your cupboards, instead of checking your batteries? That just costs nothing to check for items that might expire soon. Before they expire, drop them off at the food pantry. So there's another option there. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez. So a few more things. Congratulations to the West Hartford Garden Club. They received 6 awards at the annual Federated Garden Clubs of Connecticut on October 27th. They were given an award for the free seed library that they did in partnership with the West Hartford Public Library, a conservation award for their efforts at Spice Bush Swamp Park, Therapy Garden Award for small individual flower arrangements at West Hartford Health and Rehab and Alfred Plant Housing. A Good Deeds citation went to Gina Chuish for her pastel artwork on Spice Bush plantings. A Luckner Club citation award as well. Yeah, so they've been doing such amazing work, and I'm a member. I don't get to their things very much, but I do appreciate and see the good that they do, and it's remarkable. So thank you. Kindness Project seeks donations now through December 8th. This is personal hygiene cleaning products to benefit clients of West Hartford Food Pantry. Again, we think about food, but we don't necessarily think about the other things like diapers and hygiene and just also for house cleaning products to keep us healthy. Donations can be dropped into specifically marked boxes at all 3 West Hartford Public Library locations. or go to the Kindness Project webpage for a list of items or more details. The diaper drive that Mr. Cortez just shared with us. Connecticut Concert Ballet performs scenes from the Nutcracker November 15th at 6:30 to 8:30. They will be in full costume at the Town Hall Auditorium. The event is free, no registration required. It is a treat. I actually walked into one of their rehearsals and they weren't in their costumes, and they're amazing. Stephanie is doing a great job, and they're really, to bring some beauty into your world, it's really awesome. West Hartford Art League Small Works Sale, November 16th. They from 6 to 8 p.m. will be will be selling small paintings, collages, photographs, drawings, and more. This is a great thing for gifts. So. Yeah, it's just wonderful. Transform your backyard into a sustainable habitat. November 16th, there will be a class from 6:30 to 8. And the Holy Family Retreat Center on Texas Road. Beaded jewelry, whimsical crochet dolls, traditional textiles. Cue the Whiskey, November 17th. This is Playhouse on Parks tasting seminar, by level 4 whiskey sommelier Irene Tan. And I think it's unique to have a female whiskey sommelier, so that's notable. Tickets are $150 or $50 non-whiskey tasting. Whiskey is pricey. And call the box office at 860-5230, All right, a turkey drop-off. This is really important. Miali at Keller Williams Legacy Partners is holding their turkey drop-off to benefit Connecticut's Food Share 10 to 2 p.m. at the Town Hall parking lot on Sunday, November 19th. That's this coming Sunday. This family fun event features popcorn, cotton candy, face painting, games, treats, and bring a frozen turkey to those in need. And then 3rd Annual Thanksgiving Trot, 5K, for those that don't want to do the Manchester Road Race, which is really busy. This was started, actually, I think, for a lot of runners that didn't want to. It's pretty crazy over there, and it's amazing. But Webster Hill PTO is encouraging all runners, walkers, stroller pushers to get outside. It begins at 8 p.m. and it's a 5K. Flu vaccine clinic, November 28th at the West Hartford Bloomfield Health District actually is holding it at the Bishop's Corner Senior Center, again, 10 to 12 p.m. on November 28th. If you haven't had your flu shot, you can stop by. Pinup Girls, a musical love letter, November 19th to December 23rd at Playhouse on Park. This is a funny, romantic, heartbreaking, and sexy tribute to our troops overseas. And probably is a really wonderful thing during the holiday season. Holiday Stroll, November 30th, 5 to 8 p.m. And we will, hopefully the weather will be good. There will be so much going on and you're going to love it. No Webster House, 4th Annual Holiday Market, December 1st through 3rd. Handmade items, a whole range of arts and crafts. And it will be actually Friday, December 1st, 5 to 8 p.m., Saturday, December 2nd and 3rd from 10 to 2 p.m. Student Career Fair will be held December 4th in the Town Hall Auditorium. This free event runs from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Come speak to professionals in fields of medical, law, public service, business, visual arts, engineering, education, sciences, technology, and much more. It's great exposure for our students. Any other announcements? Mr. Sweeney.
I do. I was noticing, and thank you, Ronnie, for the coverage of it, but I think this last year we had 16 student athletes receive Division I offers, which I don't ever recall seeing. I would just like to note for the record that 12 of them came from Hall.
And more coming.
Yes, and more coming. But Connor had a young lady named Tess Sherry who won the Gatorade Track and Field Athlete of the Year, which is amazing. But it turns out she's the second person in her family to get it. That's pretty impressive. But I just thought, I kind of was seeing this. I have not ever seen this kind of success in athleticism throughout the town, all consistently, and it's been great to see it, particularly in this role and being able to sometimes call certain basketball games. But it's great to see all these kids doing so well, and also just seeing the success of so many of these kids, and a lot of them are also not only going Division I, but they're going to Ivy League schools. So success for everyone means it different, but it's just really great to see it throughout both schools, and it's great to see our student athletes doing so well.
So incredibly impressive. I'm not sure they were all Division. Were those all Division I?
Not
No,
all,
they were.
but there were just of the I went through and counted them.
Yes.
Which ones were Division I
Wow.
athletes.
Okay.
So I mean, I think there were like 20 some odd kids that got acknowledged for acceptance, and there were like 12 in Hall, and 4 of them were at Connor were Division I schools. So.
It's very impressive. Congratulations to all of the students, all of them that are going to play. And it is very challenging playing sports at even Division III. So
Yes.
surely for Division I. Mr. Dodge, you have you had a nice win in your family. I'll give it to Mr. Dodge in a minute, but the U11 West Hartford soccer team played in the state championship against South Windsor and won in a shutout 4-0 in double overtime. And Little Dallas, who's bigger than me, was goalie and allowed no goals. So pretty amazing. So that's the field training that he'll probably be going to Connor, though. So,
Hell in high water, right?
Right. Mr. Winograd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll switch it up a little bit because we could be fun to talk about all the great kids we have in town. Like Attorney Dodge, I will be missing our next meeting, which is unfortunate for various reasons. Worst is my inability to vote for you for another incredible, well-deserved term as mayor. Congratulations. And for missing the opportunity to pay tribute to Deputy Mayor Sweeney on his last official day in office. So with your indulgence, I'd like to just say a few words tonight. I'm just going to tape it, but that seemed awfully disruptive. Liam, it's been an absolute pleasure and privilege to serve with you. I admire your leadership, your dedication, your wit, your sharp political instincts, and your relentlessness. I've learned so much from you, and expect that you will continue to be a source of counsel and advice, and I'll certainly be looking for it. I also hope that when we break ground, and you just proved it again tonight on your advocacy for the youth in West Hartford, when we break ground at the new Elmwood Community Center, and later when we have a ribbon cutting at some point, I hope you're there. I hope I'm there. I hope you're there. Because your advocacy for a bigger, better teen center was just amazing. It was crucial to the effort, and you never let us forget. You showed us the closet that it was, or that it is, and you've been just pushing to make that something special. So I hope you'll be there. I can't wait to be with you with that ribbon cutting. You deserved, all the credit for that advocacy. And so thank you, my friend. Good luck with all your endeavors.
I appreciate that, Mr. Winograd. I will definitely be there, and I will throw up the inaugural first free throw at the new gym.
That's beautiful. The rest of us will be. The rest of us will be sharing on the night that on next week when we change seats and change to a new term of council. So again, thank you, Mr. Winograd. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney, for your incredible service. And I did, of course, get from the woman that knows everything, 50 wagons and more than 2,000 items at the Morley Food Drive. Thank you, Ronnie. So amazing. All right, any other announcements? No? Okay, then I think we go to adjournment. Although, anybody opposed to adjourning? Seeing no opposition, we are now adjourned. Thank you.